All right, here's another example. So here we're trying to find the equation of a tangent line again. This time the function is 1 over x, right? And a is equal to 2 this time, right? So we'll use our increment formula, because that's probably the most common one that you'll see in textbooks and things, where h approaches 0, and we have f of a plus h minus f of a all over h. Okay, and so first of all, if we plug in 2, so basically we're going to get f of 2 plus h minus f of 2 all over h, right? So this is going to be our the specific version of our formula at x equals 2, right? And so first of all, let's find f of 2. So f of 2 is just going to be 1/2, 1 over 2, right? So that's what we can plug in right here. And f of 2 plus h is just going to be 1 over 2 plus h. All right. And so we're going to find the limit as h approaches 0 of 1 over 2 plus h. Okay, and so right here, what we have here is a complex fraction, right? So this is kind of one of those, I don't know if y'all have seen the original Karate Kid, but this is kind of a wax on, wax off moment where you're like, why are we doing all this stuff, Mr. Gloyd, all these limits and complex fractions and all this stuff? And so this is very similar to problems that we had on the test and the quiz, where we had to simplify a problem with the rational expression. Actually, I ended up taking it off of the test, but we saw one like very similar on quiz 2, I believe. So what we're going to do is, first of all, combine these together by finding a common denominator and just simplifying in the numerator there. So here we'd multiply by 2 on top and bottom, right? Here we'd multiply by 2 plus h on top and bottom, so we can get that common denominator. And so we'll end up with 2 minus, and so it'll be negative 2 plus h, right? All over, now I have that common denominator, 2 times 2 plus h, right? All over h. I don't know why I'm kind of going diagonal here, but then we have our limit. Okay, and so now we can combine these, right? So I can distribute this negative, and so it'll turn into 2 minus h, right? And so these 2's will cancel out, and so we'll end up with negative h on top, all over 2 times 2 plus h, all over h, right? And so now we can simplify this by taking the numerator fraction and multiplying it by the reciprocal, right, of the denominator fraction. So that'll be 1 over h. And so we can see here that now our h's are going to cancel out, right? Still have that negative there. So it'll end up being, let me straighten out here, the limit as h approaches 0 of negative 1 on top, all over 2 plus, or excuse me, 2 times 2 plus h. Okay, and now it's just a direct evaluation. Now all I have to do is just plug in 0, because now I no longer have that 0 in the denominator like we had before. Now I can just input 0, so it'll be 2 plus 0 there for h, and so that'll be negative 1 over 2 times 2. 2 plus 0 is 2, right? And then so that turns into negative 1/4. So that's the slope of our tangent line. So now if we want to find the equation of the tangent line, so if we know the slope is 1/4, and I forgot the negative, didn't I? Yeah, negative 1/4. All right, so if I know the slope is negative 1/4, now we can find the equation of the tangent line by just doing our point slope formula, right? So I know that f of 2 is 1/2, right? So 2 comma 1/2 is a point. that I can use. So I can just say y minus 1/2 equals m, which is negative 1/4 times x minus 2. And you can just leave it like that, right? That's totally fine. If you wanted to turn to slope intercept form, you could multiply everything by 4. And so you'd end up with 4y minus 2 equals negative 1 times x minus 2, right? And so that 1 is invisible there. And so then you could distribute that negative 1. And so you could end up with negative x plus 2. And you can add 2 to both sides. So you'd end up with 4y equals negative x plus 4. And then you can divide everything by 4. So we'd end up with y equals negative 1/4 x plus 1, right? And so this is fine here. And if you want to get it to point slope form, this would be the version there. All right. Just wanted to kind of show you that, remind you how to get from one to the other, but I'm okay if you don't simplify. If you just leave it like this, that's fine. Yeah, that just gets us to the equation of the line. All right, and then here, this is the visual again. So this is the equation of 1 over x, and so here's the, at 2, this is the line that's tangent, right? And there we can see our equation, same as what we got. And so you can see the visualization of, okay, at that particular point, there's the tangent line, right? The line that just barely touches that curve at that one point and doesn't cross through any other points along that curve.